What's up, guys? Back in my hotel room after round 7 of the US Chess Championships, and I just wanted to start this video with an update regarding Christopher Yu's case. Obviously a very sad situation that happened and that scarred the chess world in the last 48 hours. We talked about it yesterday, and I just wanted to give you an update which I think it's relevant to the situation, very relevant. I might add, and that is a statement, an apology from Christopher Yu's dad on behalf of his family and Christopher, and I think it's a very well written statement. It touches upon a lot of subjects, but first and foremost, it takes responsibility for his actions and does not seek any sort of excuses for it, which I think is definitely a step in the right direction and a good way, a good first step in rehabilitating Christopher within the chess world. So I will link that in the description below. Check it out. Let me know what you think. And with that being said, let's get into the recap with Yaz. Yeah, so round 7, what a slugfest. Everybody was in super fighting mood, it seems like this one.
That's our impression, absolutely.
It feels like that after the round immediately. Now, what's your impression about the players, about the games? Let's start with the open section.
Sure. Sam Sevian has the white pieces today against Fabi. Don't forget that it's not just about the U.S. Championship, it's also a qualifying event for the World Cup. So Sam is thinking to himself, okay, I need to qualify. This is it's crucial to get into that event, and possibly it's a candidate's qualifying. Yes. So he's white against Fabi. How much risk should he take? He really didn't take any risks.
No.
He kept the position balanced. I think a draw was a result that both players more or less embraced.
Look, for Fabi, there's absolutely no reason to risk it. At this point, he's leading, he's black, he's playing a very dangerous opponent.
Especially for himself. I mean,
exactly.
Sam has won some games against him in the past.
Yes, especially with the white pieces. Very difficult to beat, very difficult to get anything out of the opening. The same strategy that he used against Christopher Yu probably would not pay dividends in this one.
Mm-hmm.
So, I would say an equitable, let's say, result.
Right? A halving of the loaf, a halving of the point. For me, a very big game was Ray Robson's victory over Hans Niemann. Now, it's funny, actually, Ray matches up very well with Hans.
He does indeed.
I think they've played something like 4 games, 1 draw, 3 wins or so for Ray, and Hans maybe had something to prove. Hans goes around saying he's the greatest talent in the world.
Especially given what happened last year, right?
The
their
queen,
direct matchup.
right? The queen getting trapped and Ray capturing Hans's queen.
I'm not sure how many games Hans lost last year, but it wasn't as many. And one of them, I think he lost at the most 2 games.
Mm-hmm.
One of them was against Ray Robson.
Exactly. So maybe something going on there between them. They don't. But anyway, so Ray has basically gone back and forth. He gets to a position. It's going to be a 3-time repetition. He's down to 6 minutes on his clock, and he stuns, I think, ourselves as well as himself. He says, you know what? With less time, I'm going to play this move c5 because there's still some issues. And then Hans just collapsed. It's one of those things where Ray's the one in time trouble, but if you think about all the moves that Hans made, he captured on c5, he moved his bishop away, he moved his rook away from the d file, he moved his king to f7 and back to g8. Like,
all the decisions that he made after that were all
questioned,
very bad.
Yeah, now, and a big victory for Ray.
I feel this is exactly, and to the point that you were making about the repetition, I think this was a psychological ploy by Ray Robson to kind of throw his opponent a little bit off. Sure, get close to the time control as well, but also throw your opponent off. And it can work because, look, you've repeated twice, you already expect, hey, okay, let's just make the draw and go home. And then your opponent finds and changes the whole character of the position with a move such as c5. You're kind of in shock, and it seems like Hans did not recover from that easily.
maybe some inexperience there by Hans, because as Ray pointed out correctly so in the interview, if you're thrown back, you're expecting your opponent to make a repetition and he doesn't, and you're suddenly like discombobulated. Man, he had an hour
Yes.
to sit there. Okay, new mindset. Let me recharge. Let me refocus on the position. What is C5?
Yes.
And then how can I best answer? He didn't rise to the
A bit
occasion.
impatient today,
Yeah.
Hans, which we haven't seen from him in this competition. He was definitely making generally the right decisions, and his time management has been pretty decent so far. Not in this one, I have
Exactly.
to say. You're facing against a player that has 5 minutes or less on his clock, with many moves to go, with a complicated position. Find the best moves.
Yeah.
Stop, think, find the best moves. He did not do that.
We skirted the issue. For me, it's not even close. The game of the day. My goodness, what a game of Wonder Liang. Uncorked on poor Grigory. Grigory just suffering a real technical loss by Fabi the day before. And suddenly it was a tactical evisceration by a Wonder Liang. Just all those moves. Rook takes D3, rook takes H3. I mean, I think at the end of the game, Kate and I were having troubles. Is that 5 pawns up or 6 pawns up? And he was up. And
Perfect game by Wonder.
really a beautiful,
Given that
a beautiful game.
Grigory came out with some very interesting idea out
That's
of the
right.
opening, this 4 knights with A3, which is starting to become very popular. But a Wanderer responded perfectly, and once he got the advantage, never let go. He was also very quick. Time management,
Yes.
amazing by a Wanderer.
He at one moment maybe he had an hour edge on the clock
Yes,
too.
very close.
Yeah.
Very close. To that.
I'm only halfway joking, but Sam Shankland, we're gonna have to keep an eye on him for depression. He's getting, he's playing wonderfully. He really is. He's playing great chess. He sacrificed in exchange today. I think made a beautiful judgment. Sacrificed in exchange for a piece for a bishop and
He
pawn.
sacrificed 2 exchanges.
And then he sacrificed the second exchange. It's breaking through on the queen side. It's hallelujah.
Could have been the game of the tournament.
Right. And a slip here, a slip there, a slip here. Mishra's just barely grimly holding on, and then finally makes a draw.
Yeah.
Oh,
Disappointing. And this is
Totally.
the type of result that can take the wind out of your sails.
Oh, big time.
Especially when you've been dealing with the same problem over and over throughout the event, and then you finally feel you're getting your game going. You've won the previous round. You have a
Right.
nice position.
The
You're
breakthroughs
sacrificing everything properly, and then you miss this queen takes
I know.
e6. This was the
Exactly.
critical move that he missed.
exactly.
And I don't think we saw it on the camera, but I do believe that it was one of those cold showers, and Sam probably was like, what just happened?
Right. Kind of a fizzle. I thought Levon might have a little bit more against Wesley than what he showed. Balance throughout. I don't think either player really missed anything. Shall we turn to
Let's go to the
the
ladies.
ladies?
of
Wow,
course, of
it's the
course.
Carissa Yip Show. I mean, today Nasi kind of had us all of a flutter. Knight takes d4, knight takes e5. She sacrificed a piece for 2 pawns. It looks like a promising attack. She just missed, and Carissa did not. She just missed a very crucial rook h3
Double exclamation mark
that
at point.
refutes the sacrifice. And it's just sort of like, oh, there was no reason that Nasi wasn't required to play knight takes e5. Her position wasn't terrible or anything
No.
like that. It just, if you don't see rook h3, you've got to go for
It's extremely tempting.
It
You're
is.
getting the king on d1 out in the open. You have all of your forces ready to pounce.
Agreed.
And then this rook h3 move just destroys your whole coordination,
Wow.
forces exchanges of pieces, which
Right.
obviously favor white. And after that, it's just so difficult to recover. Being able to calculate that and find rook h3 and go for it as Carissa, yeah, kudos to her. Who's going to stop her?
I
right
don't
now?
know. Right now, there's almost a feeling of inevitability that she might get the Fisher Prize. Big upset. okay, maybe it wasn't such a big upset. Begum Lee beats
That's
Alice
a big upset.
Lee. And for me,
I'll correct you on that one, yes, sir. That's a big upset.
and
Huge
for,
upset.
And for me, Alice was never in the game.
No.
After we saw the position after e5 and bishop a6 especially, Alice played bishop a6. And, you know, you talk to that bishop on a6 and you say, what are you doing there? And the bishop says, I don't know. And the bishop was out of the game, and Alice played a piece down and deservedly lost.
Yeah.
Or Begum deservedly won. Begum, whatever she's has in terms of good luck, I don't know if it's spinach, I don't know, you know, the Popeye spinach, yes. I don't know what magical fairy dust is working. She was lost against Rose. She gets a win.
She gambled.
Wow.
This game was a complete gamble. Gave a piece, but even in her interview with Anastasia, she was saying that, look, it's just a game of chess. Mistakes will be made.
Of course.
You know, I'm taking it one move at a time. I understand that perhaps it's not the most precise piece sacrifice, but it worked. You keep the pressure on. Your opponents will make mistakes as well.
Of course. And that's what happened. Jennifer Yu versus Irina, that was a real little head scratcher for me, because at one time I thought it was a 3-result game with potentially Irina actually having the upper hand. It was bishops of opposite colors. Both kings were being viciously attacked. There was this move h6 by Jennifer. Rook f7, I'm still not sure what was going on there, but I didn't expect Irina to lose that, or rather Jennifer to win it, and it was impressive win.
This was lost in the time trouble.
Yes,
in those last few moves of the time trouble, she made a mistake. But kudos to Jennifer for keeping the pressure. I really like the fact that she placed that pawn on h6. Once she did that,
and never played hg7 either. Right.
Very nicely timed.
Yeah, didn't make a shield for.
Final decisive results. I hope I'm not wrong in that regard. Tatev with the black pieces against Thalia.
Wow,
that was a back and forth.
Oh, truly. Thalia threw the kitchen sink at Tatev. Sacrifice. At one moment, I think Thalia was down a rook and a piece, trying to get a king, an attack on Tatev's king. Tatev defended. And at one moment, Tatev said, you know what? I've got such an overwhelming material advantage. I can give back a rook, and I can still win the game. Well,
mistake.
Right.
Big mistake.
When she gave back the rook, suddenly there was 3 connected passed pawns. Then I kind of thought, well, wait a minute, Thalia's better, but yeah, it should still be a draw.
It was not easy. She had to play queen to h6 instead of rook to g6.
Right.
Not easy to spot. Now you're fending off a checkmate threat with queen to e8.
Yeah,
queen h6, but you're allowing queen e7, check.
Right.
Then you have to put on your running shoes, go king to g8. You're seeing rook e5, rook g5 ideas. It's scary.
Of course.
With 30 seconds on her clock or whatever she had, it's scary.
Yes,
so,
agreed.
She wanted to relieve some pressure with rook g6. Unfortunately, after that, it was all Thalia.
Very, very nervous affair, and at the very end, even, you know, with the 3 connected passed pawns, I kind of expected Tatev to find knight f7 and knight d6 and to try to make it more difficult. As it happened in the game, the pawns came marching, rolled right through, actually. h7, g7 checkmate was coming. Yeah.
Yes, sir. Round 7 is in the books. We're entering the final stretch. Great round, great recap. Thanks, and I'll see you tomorrow.
Absolutely. To all viewers, see you tomorrow.
Cheers, guys.